friends and neighbors of Oakwood Harbor. I tried to live stream that video this morning, but just as well that I didn't, because the recording was able to be sent to my YouTube account and to my attorney, so it worked out kind of good. So I think I'll do it this way from now on. But anyways, just wanted to say good afternoon. I'm down in my office and figured I'd grab a little bit of air conditioning and say hi and remind you that if you don't have the money to take these guys to court for breach of contract, I understand. We've bought property out in Muskogee County that's classified as farm property because we intend to eventually move off the Oakwood Harbor anyways, because there's just there's not enough involvement to try and get things right. But you're never going to get these guys to do anything unless you start pressing their buttons. So if you don't have the $58 to go and place a small claims court case against them for breach of contract and at least get your assessments back for the last, I believe and again, I'm not an attorney. I keep telling you guys that, but I do a little bit of reading, a little bit of study, and talking with my attorney. I believe the statute of limitations goes back like 3 years, might be 4. But let's say it went back 3 years and you just took them to court to get your assessments back because you're not getting any of the services that are required by them. Obviously, roads being very easy to prove. I have more photos from the last couple of months than I did from when I bought the property back in December 2019. Also videos, everybody, Robin's videos, everybody who's had problems like this, and it's not being addressed. It's being ignored. In most cases, you don't hear from these guys unless it's some kind of funny remark or some kind of comment. They've been keeping a tight lip, and they spent $750 to get Alex onto the case, and of course my attorneys, they're doing the attorney thing right now, and it's a slow process. The court case is scheduled for the 21st of this month, but we'll see how that works out. But I wanted to let you know, my case is much different. I'm going after them for the amount of money it's cost me since December 2019 to current to fix that road time and time and time again, and to install a driveway, because as you saw from this morning's video, that road has gotten worse and worse and worse. The pipes keep freezing because of the condition of the road and the runoff. And I had some clown on there today say, wah wah wah, you don't have a plan. Problem is we have a plan. We've had a plan many times. We've presented that plan both in the owners' meetings and through social media. And they don't listen. They've been told French drains are the way to go. Sandbags are the way to go. Thank you, Courtney Wright, for donating those sandbags to Robin. At least she's got a handle on it now. And from what I heard, Courtney went down and checked on her, make sure things were going okay. Don't know. I haven't had a chance to go down there myself because of all the misery that they've caused me. We've bought property in Muskogee County. We've set up an office separately, and we're in the transition process of getting situated in that case. And of course, business. You have to make a living. So, unfortunately, like with Robert can drive during the day and just hop on the phone and try and help organize and get things done, which apparently they can't do in Oklahoma City. And I can jump on the phone and try and organize and get things done. But again, this has gone way beyond where I even want to be involved in it anymore. But you need to do something because everybody keeps talking about the county, and you're playing right into their hands. That's what they want. They want the system to fail because anybody who doesn't have proper water and sewer is going to have to find another place to live. And they're going to be stressed and paying rent or sharing a house with their relatives, and they're going to sell out cheap in order to get some cash flow. These are just the underlying issues. The bigger issues with the failure of the HOA and the association is that even in that situation, if you can stay, just to give you a heads up, I'm in a small town And that small town, it's not really a secret anymore, so I don't really care. I'm in Haskell with my office, and I set up my office. I got my first full bill this month for utilities, and obviously we've only been down here long enough to work on the office a little bit and turn the air conditioner on maybe for 5 minutes, and so on and so forth. But the bottom line is that the first full bill just for sewer, water, gas, we didn't use any gas, we didn't use 1,000 gallons of water, but you get charged $15 for the water and for the connection for the gas, and the trash bill was like $38. So all in all, just to have this office here right now is $89 and some change per month. And that's just for the water, the septic, the gas. And like I said, once the usage goes up, then it'll be more. And that could happen very easily there too as well. If the city's going to spend money to come out there and fix those roads and do surveys and kick people off their property and make sure that someone's not on someone else's land, they're going to have to raise the mill rate for the taxes right off the bat in order to generate the funds to hire the people that are necessary to go in there and do the work. If they have to acquire new equipment in order to grade those roads properly, they're going to push your vehicles off to the side or tow them away, and they're going to raise that tax rate, that mill rate again, in order to get the money that they need to hire the people to do these things, to turn Oakwood Harbor into a whatever you want to call it, a county development or a county subdivision. Or maybe even Shakota will say, okay, well, we'll stretch our arm out over there and we'll make it part of the city. It's a possibility, but it's going to cost money. And every time it costs money, guess who ends up paying for it? It's the same thing as all these subsidies and everything else that we pay for the government. Everybody says, yeah, tax this one, tax that one, give them a subsidy so they don't go out of business. But ultimately, the cost gets passed down to the consumer. So in the end, you're going to pay for it in a lot of ways. And I can't stress enough that the HOA is your, or the association itself is your protection against all of that. But again, I've talked myself blue in the face on this before, and just letting you know that now it's also become a liability issue, because that road there, besides myself, there are other families that come in that road because the steepness of the other side of that hill is almost impossible to navigate. And now after all of this rain, I haven't even gone up there and photographed that yet. But there's an elderly couple that lives over there. They have caretaker, or not caretakers, but people that healthcare workers come in and take care of them. They have medical deliveries that come by all the time. I've brought packages down to them because they wouldn't go down the hill, and they drop it in my driveway. These are all things that you have to take into consideration, is that there's a lot of traffic on that road, and if they don't notice it, and you've seen these UPS drivers driving through here, you've seen FedEx driving through here, they're going to come whipping around that corner, and they're going to flip into that ditch, and they're going to sue Oakwood Harbor. And there go your assessments again. You know, paying off another lawyer suit, and paying off the liability, the accident damage, and so on and so forth. And I've brought this to their attention well back in the beginning of 2020. And again, it was brought to the attention of the then maintenance supervisor the day that they had a break in the water line that was right next to there that also contributed to the erosion of that corner. And as Troy posted, you saw the same thing happen with the power trucks. All of these little liability issues are going to start to bubble to the surface, and they're not going to be able to fight the onslaught of the litigation that's going to come on. So failure is looking more and more imminent as you go along. I'm just saying this today so that you can make plans, because you either need to make plans to, have a backup plan somewhere to go if they do fail and the county steps in or the city steps in or whatever the case may be. You're going to need to make plans. But also, too, to remind you that the more of us that go down there and file a lawsuit on breach of contract, the more likelihood they're going to go away. And they're going to put somebody in there that really gives a shit about Oakwood Harbor. And we've already put our money where our mouth is. Well, we've told them to put in the French drains. We've showed them what it would take. We've showed them the sandbag effect. We have differing opinions on how those things should be worked out, but there is actually plans. The problem is they don't want to listen to the plan. If you're not on the inside of their little circle, the OKC5 or the Royals, whatever you want to call them, if you're not part of their husband and wife team or their in-law team or their supporters, you're deaf. They're deaf. They don't want to hear what you have to say. So the more people that actually go down there and start rattling some cages, the better off that you're going to be. I just wanted to let you know that corner is very dangerous. So if you come around that way for whatever reason, I've seen a UTV going or ATV going back and forth today, just playing around. They hit that corner in the wrong way, and it could be a death sentence. But on the other hand, I looked at the depth and everything, and you could definitely get hurt. But there's always a possibility how you're going to land. So tell your friends, if you're on the north side and you come in from Lottawatta Road and you start going down Council Tree Drive, that's a very dangerous place to be. I've sent a text message to my friend on the FedEx side because he brings stuff right to my door to let him know about it. But, they've got different drivers all the time. For all we know, an Amazon driver will come in there and roll himself down inside the ditch. And then again, Oakwood Harbor is going to get sued. Your assessments are going to pay for the lawyer. Your assessments are going to pay for the settlement. And nothing new is going to get done. It's the same thing as this $1,500 increase in the gravel. No one's seen it. I talked with Bob this morning, asked him if Daryl had seen it. Daryl ordered the gravel, but hasn't gotten it. How long does this take? I mean, back in 2019, no one knew what was going on. And then all of a sudden in 2012, the new board's taking over in April. They'll have answers. They'll have a plan. And then the new board takes over. They have no answers. They have no plan. We go through almost the entire summer, and we end up having a failed meeting for the owners because they refuse to do it. And again, thank you to Ryan Sungard, because you're the one that started that and got us aware, or at least got me aware and a couple of other people, and we started paying even closer attention to what was going on. But even then, they didn't attend the meeting. The only remarks that were made on the meeting was it was a shit show. They didn't have any solutions. And the standing solution is come to the board meeting. Come to the board meeting. I went in September. I went in October. I was on the Zoom meeting in November and December, and again, nothing was done. And so that led to my lawsuit. But the point being is now here it is, we're in June of 2021. These guys took over in April of last year. We've come full circle, and still the only thing they've managed to do was willy-nilly hand out a whole bunch of raises and create new positions like maintenance supervisor, take away positions like property improvement coordinator, employee liaison. So now, even if you are employed by Oakwood Harbor, you don't have a boss. You don't know who to talk to. The two people that do live on site are, part of the problem. The other 5 don't even care. Last I heard, they weren't even showing up for meetings most of the time, but they're excused absences, of course. Their friends are all on the board. Who's not going to excuse that? Ryan attended every single meeting and posted information for us to see online as far as the finances and the planning and everything else. And you know what it got him? It got him kicked off the board illegally. Because in the covenants it says that unless you miss meetings or you're incompetent, and obviously Ryan is far from incompetent, he just didn't do things the way they wanted it done. So they got rid of him. And since then we've had a lot of people quit and resign, and some people just basically got booted off, like in Ryan's case, and then they got replaced and appointed by people that you never elected, I never elected. The people that were elected were never asked if they wanted the job. They were never sent a notice. Cindy and Marvin are a good example of that. I saw the votes. I saw the minutes of the meeting. They had votes. They didn't have the most votes. But when you kick off people off the board, you should be going to the people that are voted in first and saying, "Hey, do you still want on the board? Because you've got votes, and we've got an opening, so come and work with us." But they didn't do that. They rear-ended. They went around the problem. So anyways, I'll make this as short as I possibly can. I'm going to stay involved in it as long as this lawyer thing is going on, and Bob is sworn to fight to the death for you. But y'all need to get off your butts, because nothing's going to happen. Even if you don't have the money, call and hound them. Get their telephone numbers. Call them, text them, say what's going on, what's the plan. I've got drainage issues down here. I've got a cave-in, like in my case, I've got a cave-in there on the corner. Call the office, keep that phone ringing, send them emails, social media, do something, raise some stink, because the justice system is a very slow moving animal. Again, this is set for the 21st. My attorney is talking to their attorney, and we may even go from $5,000 to $10,000 because of the move that they've caused me. The smear campaign, the slander, all of the issues that they've caused. I opened an office, and I bought another piece of property, and now I'm in the transition of moving because of their inadequacy and their lack of good judgment, lack of involving the owners in these decisions, and so we may even go to $10,000. I don't know. I've talked to the attorney. He's all for it, and I'm on the fence. I put $2,000. I'd had to do the numbers in order to give him numbers, and just equipment costs alone, as many times as I've fixed that road and creating my own driveway because they would not maintain the road, I put in $2,522, I think the exact amount was, and that's just equipment costs. That's not the cost of what happened later on and all the research that we've had to do in order to find out what's going on, and why the money just doesn't show up, why the invisible gravel doesn't show up, why the owners are not answering our questions. We're not owners, but the board. Well, the board owners, I guess the true owners of Oakwood Harbor. But anyways, like I said, long story short is that's where the rubber meets the road. If we get everything switched around in the next couple of weeks, then I'll be putting a more intense ad up to sell my lots that are up there. If I like you, I'll give you a better price. If you're some investor from Louisiana who drops down $55,000 for 9 lots and gets the 10th one for free, you're going to pay like you did in that case. That's about $6,100 a lot, so you could probably afford it. But something's going on, and you all need to realize this. And if you want to live there and you want to spend the rest of your life there, or your family's been there for generations, you need to start making a big stink. Because the squeaky wheel gets the grease, boys and girls. The justice system is a very slow process. The 21st may be moved on, I don't know. Supposedly they're talking and negotiating now, and if not, we're going for it, man. I mean, these people have already ruined my retirement. I wanted to retire out there and just take care of a few RV repairs out in the area and whatnot, and this turned into a whole fiasco, and that's had to change now, and it's cost me a great deal of money. It's cost Robert, and it's cost private owners who have put up their money to retain the attorney for the injunctive relief, which again is a process. It all takes time, and not enough of you are going down there and signing because the board says you're going to be liable. And I've already did a video on that liability, and I've recommended that you go to the attorney or your own attorney and ask them, what's my exposure, and go from there. But either way, it's on you guys now. I just hope that no one gets hurt going around that corner, and I hope that those of you that are sleeping and not paying attention wake up and say, hey, we need to raise some hell, because this board needs to go. The Fantastic Five from Oklahoma City are so far away they don't even know what's going on out here. The two that are here are reporting back to them and getting instructions from people who don't know what's going on out here. Gravel's been appropriated, the money's been supposedly authorized, and it's not there. There's lots of issues. So y'all have a great afternoon, and I hope you appreciated that cute little video this morning, because even if you sue them or whatever, I mean, it's proof. And I appreciate all the extra emails and photographs and input that's been coming in on a private level that I can show to the attorney as well. But y'all have a great day, and I hope this all works out for you. But you really need to get on the ball, because the ball's going to fall on you if you don't.